Jason Minix, the Blitz.
What a great Monday it is. Hit 1-1, so much better than 0-2. As our buddy RJ Ochoa says, a victory polo Monday. Cowboys with a win, surprising the world to the point that even Dan Orlovsky on NFL Live a few minutes ago said to Marcus Spears, I got to admit when I'm wrong, Cowboys are a pretty good team. I mean, somewhere Stephen A. Smith has fallen out of his chair. But even Stephen A. with Michael Irvin this morning, Cowboys go into L.A. and they get a win. They beat the Chargers yesterday. We're going to talk a lot about it today. It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. If you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, if you're listening at sasportstar.com, glad to have you along, although it's going to be a short show. So if you want to be a part of it, dial up those Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. You can get us on Twitter. I am at Jason Minix. James Pledger is producing. He is on Twitter at I am Pledger. Even Vince Trevino is checking in on Facebook Live. Apparently a work trip up there in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's an underrated city. So Vince, if I don't know how long you're going to be in Pittsburgh. I almost said a nickname that I have for him that would probably get me fired. But Pimente Brothers sandwiches. But go to the one that's kind of downtown in the industrial area. Those sandwiches are just incredible. But and I got to remember what's on there. I went there a couple years ago with Eric Messersmith, who's from the area, and when we were traveling with the San Antonio Talents. And they put something on their sandwiches I don't like. And so I said to leave that off. And I thought the lady was going to hit me. Like I offended her by trying to customize the sandwich. So my suggestion to you is just order whatever's on the menu, and if you don't like it, pick it off. But there was something that they put on there that I just didn't want. I forget what it was, but it was a hell of a sandwich. It was a hell of a sandwich. It was certainly worth it, and they've got a better bar district than I ever would have imagined there in Pittsburgh. So have fun up there in PA, because you know what you're going to get by watching us on Facebook, Vince? Great Cowboy talk. I guarantee you. You ain't going to get great Cowboy talk in Pittsburgh. In fact, in Pittsburgh, after what we saw yesterday, they're probably going Chicken Little, the sky is falling. And they very well might be with Ben Roethlisberger. Because, man, he did not look good, and he's throwing his OC under the bus. I was prepared for an 0-2 start without going all sky is falling, looking at the opponents that the Cowboys opened with as long as they look good in losing. But, man, I am on cloud nine with that victory yesterday.
The Pimente Brothers sandwich, was that the one we actually sent to head coach Mike McCarthy after a win at one point last season? I know we sent him some Pittsburgh sandwiches.
No, we talked about it until we realized how much it was going to cost to get one of those things delivered to him. Did we actually go through with that?
Yeah.
Did Rob do it?
Yeah.
Then, if so, then yes. I know we looked at it, but getting food delivered from a place like that, it gets kind of pricey. I mean, it's worth it if you're craving home. But even then, I mean, he might have got it, but then he still has to heat it up and cook it. That's not near this. I think we just went straight breakfast tacos. But, yeah, Pimente Brothers is legit. That is one of those, if you're in a certain city, you've got to go, and certainly worth it. It lives up to the hype of the way they do things. But let's talk about the Cowboys yesterday. And again, you want to chime in, you can. We got a lot to talk about today. Not only will we talk Cowboys, the Moose, Daryl Johnston, is going to join us in about an hour at 5 o'clock. Something new that we're going to do every Monday here on the Blitz. I don't know. We got to come up with a catchy name for it. Mondays with the Moose, Minix and Moose, Moose and Minix. I don't know. I just wish that Daryl was in town. We could go get a beer over at the Friendly Spot like back in the days with the San Antonio Commanders. And he had an interesting game yesterday with Jameis Winston and the New Orleans Saints getting their butts kicked by the Carolina Panthers. But Moose is coming up at 5. We're out early today because the Yankees and Rangers, they're on the East Coast. Thank God. I don't mind when we get early release days in June and July. but I hate getting interrupted during baseball season. I really do. But this is the last week of it because the Rangers suck. So but we are out at 6. So instead of Jeff Traylor at 6 like he normally is, he's going to be at 5:30, and Moose is going to be at 5. Peter Burns will join us at 4:30 to talk some SEC football. We'll switch some other stuff around. It's a week of early release where you just want to stay in class, because especially with everything that we have to talk about. And we're going to start with the Cowboys. Now, I don't know if I want to start with the good or the ugly. And because I got a lot of problems with Mike McCarthy today. I really, and I don't know if I want to start with the negative or work my way there, because there were so many positives about the game yesterday. And I think the biggest takeaway is, let's talk about Dan Quinn and that Dallas Cowboys defense. The Cowboys won a game, a football game, without scoring 30 points or more for the first time since 2018. When they beat Tampa Bay 27-20. That was December 23rd of 2018. I think my score prediction when I finally made one on Friday was the Cowboys actually winning. That might have been a homer pick, because I had to convince myself that it was going to happen with the MASH unit that they were assembling throughout the week. But I felt sort of good going into the game, but every day it was worse. But it was everything going in was, how explosive can this offense be? We knew they would be able to run the ball against the Chargers. We saw what Washington did running against the Chargers, and you look at their defense, they don't want to get beat in the pass game. They're not going to get beat over the top. So that box is empty. You can run. I expected the Cowboys to run. I expected the Cowboys to score a lot. Could they get a stop or two? I forget what I said, Pledge, on the score prediction, but it was two teams in the 30s, like 38-31, something like that. I did not expect to see a final score like what we got yesterday in Los Angeles. I mean, 20-17. That could have been the score at the end of one, knowing this defense, knowing that offense, knowing the Cowboys offense, knowing the Chargers defense, and the way the Cowboys started the game, scoring 14 quick ones. You thought, uh-oh, man, they might get 50 the way they were going, because the Chargers couldn't stop them. They couldn't. Credit them, they made some adjustments. I love the way Kellen Moore was calling the game yesterday. The play calls, again, what were the Chargers letting them have? Oh, yeah? All right. You guys are going to let us run and not let us throw? Sucks if you have Amari Cooper on your fantasy team, as I raise my hand, but Zeke going to run. Tony Pollard is going to run. Tony Pollard was going to get his touches. They talked about it all week. Nothing that you saw offensively from Kellen Moore should have surprised you if you were paying attention. How about Terrence Steele from Steele High School? He played extremely well. Couple of matchups with Joey Bosa. And when I checked the score, the box score, all the stats, I didn't see Joey Bosa with a sack. I didn't see Joey Bosa with a tackle for loss. Hey, Terrence Steele, you did your job. A lot of question marks about that. Now, on the TV broadcast, Tony Romo kept pointing out the road grader that is Zach Martin, and what a difference that makes. I still don't think that the Cowboys would have run the ball a week ago against Tampa Bay if Zach were there. But Zach makes a huge difference. Tony Pollard, you got your touches, 109 yards on 13 carries. Zeke, 71 yards on 16. That explosive 1-2 punch. Dak Prescott, extremely efficient, throwing the football, 23 of 27, 237 yards, no touchdowns. Did throw that interception. That was really the only bad ball he threw the entire game, and it cost him. It was a turnover. But I loved what we have seen over the first 2 weeks with the Dallas Cowboys. They're not one-dimensional. If you want to take away the run, they'll beat you with the pass. You want to try to take away the pass, they will run you to death. 31 rush attempts, 27 pass attempts. Pretty damn balanced. 198 yards on the ground, 237 through the air. And I think that might be the biggest surprise, because brilliant first quarter. Second and third, not so much. Now, I'm not dumb. I saw 2 touchdowns taken away because of penalty. Can't control that. Can't get angry about that. I think there were some bad calls all the way around. But I don't know that there were bad calls that changed the game. In essence, the calls that were made look legit. There were a couple that I thought should have been called on the Chargers that weren't. But again, that might have been my homer. I hate the taunting crap. Taunting and targeting, the 2 T's. Targeting in college football, taunting in the NFL, these refs, dude, it's football. You got to let them play. But at the same time, everybody is aware that it's happening. Allen can't get up and do what he did and not expect a flag. I don't care how mad you are. Some of it is there. But overall, I thought it was a hell of a football game for the Dallas Cowboys. There are a couple of times that you were frustrated, but I think that happens with the ebb and flow of a football game. I have a buddy of mine that was texting me about how unprepared the Cowboys looked, and I thought, dude, man, are you drunk, blind, or stupid, or all 3? And no, I wasn't texting James. I look at it, the Cowboys looked prepared yesterday. Dan Quinn, with the next man up philosophy, got his guys prepared and confused Justin Herbert. All day long, last year's Rookie of the Year looked confused. Micah Parsons, he is a beast. He is a beast, whether you wanted him or not. I know it wasn't Cowboys option A or B or C, but that was a hell of a pickup for the Dallas Cowboys. For him to go in there and basically play defensive end the entire game, now, I don't want him doing that all season long. I don't know if he's big enough to do that all season long. But he looked impressive. He looked impressive. Jalen Smith, I've been very critical of you. You had a hell of a game yesterday. Number 9 was all over the field. Leighton Vander Esch, same way. Diggs played well. Anthony Brown participated. But even when you look at some of the other guys, guys that I was looking at going, who the hell is that? Oh, yeah, that guy, right? Especially with some of the roster or number changes. Right? I thought all in all, it was a great game for the Dallas Cowboys. Got a couple of picks. 2 weeks into the season, your Dallas Cowboys lead the NFL in takeaways. Don't argue, well, that was lucky here, lucky. It doesn't matter. They're getting the interceptions. They should have had another one yesterday, but there was a chintzy flag called on that one play. All in all, I really enjoyed yesterday's game and the way the Cowboys played. I love the way Dan Quinn is coaching up this team and calling the defenses. I think Kellen Moore called an excellent game yesterday. Mike McCarthy, what? Mike McCarthy, situational football. That's a brand new stadium. You almost blew it in the end because of clock management. Now, we've seen it happen with Jason Garrett before. I was trying to remember which game it was, and Todd Archer tweeted about Baltimore in 2012. I seem to remember one against Philadelphia with some horrendous clock management that might have cost the Cowboys a game. I have no idea what the Dallas Cowboys were doing on that final series. Now, let's go through what happened on that final series. They get the ball, and they are driving down the field, right? Now, you want to talk about communication issues and all the different things that we're constantly talking about. They start that drive with how much time was on the clock from the Charger 45-yard line. Even then, what the drive start with about 2 minutes to go. They start driving. They get up to the 45. Pollard picks up a couple of yards. There's 33 seconds left. I think the Dallas Cowboys thought the Chargers were going to call a timeout to try to have some time after the Cowboys go and kick a field goal. They did not. Tony Pollard must have thought that the Cowboys or the Chargers or somebody was going to take a timeout because he ran off the field. He was expecting a personnel change because you still had a timeout. You had the whole field to you, and nobody called a timeout until 4 seconds left when you saw Kellen Moore racing 10, 15 yards, whatever it was, calling a timeout. And Mike McCarthy put a sandwich down and said, oh, yeah, I need these hands to call timeout because I don't know what the hell he was doing except reading the menu. Dak is looking at him like, Coach, what are we doing? And then the BS excuse that he gives us post-game. And I'll give Mike McCarthy credit. He came up with this BS fast.
Like I was watching, went off the board, and then, Clark Kellen had, I think he said a camera, he got blocked by a camera guy. So the communication was great from up top. And, obviously you want to call that timeout between 3 and 4 seconds. So,
all right. Now, I believe a little bit of this. I really do. It's a brand new stadium. You've been there. You played there last year. But those new video boards, it might have a clock. It might have statistical information. But then it also might show you an ad. I've run into that when broadcasting games. Well, you go to a stadium you're not familiar with. You see where the clock is. You know the clock that you're looking at. But you also know at some point it might have an ad, other statistical information, or a clock. Well, that's on you to find where the permanent clock is. As a broadcaster, when I go do play-by-play at a game, the first thing I do is find the clocks. Even in the Alamo Dome, when they put up all the different ribbons, it's called ribbon boards with all the different graphics and stuff, they go away, so it doesn't always have the clock there. So I sort of buy that. You might have been looking at a clock that went away. How you didn't know where the other clocks were is on you, Mike McCarthy, about being prepared. Kellen Moore, there was a cameraman in your way? Either take a step forward or a step back. I mean, unless Tyron Smith grabbed a camera, you should be able to see around most camera guys. Most of them are about the size of James Pledger. And the cameras aren't that big. But again, there's more than one clock in the building. Not to mention all the other coaches on the sideline. Not to mention all the other coaches in the booth. Not to mention your quarterback, who at some point should have just taken over and said, I don't know what the hell we were doing. I freaked out, so I called timeout because there's still yards to play. And then for Mike McCarthy to say, well, once we were in field goal range, we just wanted to run the clock down. Are you kidding? 56 yards is field goal range? You've got 30 seconds on the clock. You've got timeouts. You've got the entire field. I mean, I got to admit, I wasn't overly confident when they lined up for that kick. I said some words when that thing went through that I can't say on the radio in disbelief. I was excited about it, but that situation was stressful, and it didn't have to be. For a kicker that I'm not confident in after what I saw in week 1, and then hearing and knowing that he's not 100%. I'm glad they carried him off the field and gave him a game ball. Greg the leg, man, that's what you're here for. 36 yards, 31 yards, score a touchdown. I mean, Mike McCarthy, I could hear him now. Well, Minix, what do you want? Last week we scored so fast, and you were mad that I left too much time for Tom Brady. I wasn't going to leave Justin Herbert anytime. Great. Maybe you run another play. I don't know if I'm going to be comfortable every week if you line up for 56 yards. Yeah, but, you saw what happened last night. Baltimore and Kansas City. Kansas City's just trying to run the ball, got punched out, fumbled, and they end up losing the game. Yeah, stuff happens, dude. It's football. But don't sit there and lie to me. Don't give me this.
Like I was watching, went off the board.
Oh.
And then, Clark Kellen had, I think he said a camera, he got blocked by a camera guy. So communication.
You can't believe that. I mean, of all people, even Rex Ryan called BS on that this morning on Get Up.
I'm sorry, I have no idea.
You ain't got to lie.
Lie. Rex, what was that like?
That's what it is. It's like, did you notice Ryan too? It goes, he tells a lie. Then you tell another lie. Then you tell another lie, and it just keeps going. Man, I've seen this a million times with kids.
Well, and again, and with coaches, we understand coaches lie to us all the time. Players lie to us all the time. As fans, as media types, we know that. But there's certain things that you just can't lie about. I mean, you just can't. You botched it. I mean, if you would just say, yeah, I thought the Chargers were going to take a timeout, and thinking that they were going to take a timeout because that's what the book says to do. So we were talking about what our next play was, didn't realize that nobody called timeout because nobody said anything. I mean, I would have been better with that. I mean, that was just ridiculous from Mike McCarthy. But Greg Zuerlein bailed him out. If the Cowboys lose that game in overtime, phone lines at 656-ESPN, 656-3776 would be lit up calling for his head. Even Rex Ryan today, Rex Ryan of all people, wants to know what the hell Mike McCarthy does for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Pledge, I don't know if you pulled that audio, if it's in this whole 3-minute clip I'm not going to play, but even Rex Ryan this morning, and I'm paraphrasing here, said, what does he do? You got Dan Quinn handling the defense. You got Kellen Moore handling the offense. Everybody seems to be in agreement 2 weeks in that Kellen Moore is probably going to be a head coach next year. Rex Ryan basically said today, why not in Dallas? Because what does Mike McCarthy do? Situational football is your job as the head coach when you've got somebody else taking care of the offense and somebody taking care of the defense. And motivate your men. Rex Ryan, who had a more memorable Hard Knocks experience, said watching Hard Knocks, he knows that Mike McCarthy isn't motivating anybody. And then if you're going to be bad at situational football, what are you doing, Mike McCarthy? Greg Zuerlein bailed him out in such a big way. Just flat lying to us. That was ridiculous. Now, you got to appreciate a coach that doesn't lie to you, one that is honest. You know, David Coley reminds me of my grandpa. I'm rooting for David Coley. I mean, David Coley's such a nice guy, little all shucks, maybe in over his head. But listening to him talk, I mean, you know, David Coley, it's 3rd down and long, and they commit a penalty and give you another opportunity, but you decline it. You decide, you know what, I just want to punt. See, Mike McCarthy, he's been a head coach for a long time. He understands how to lie to the media. David Coley, he's been a head coach for 10 minutes. He hasn't quite figured it all out yet.
If I had it to do over again, I would have taken the penalty. And I'll tell you, as I thought about it, it was more out of a frustration than anything. And kind of this is what happened is we were 2nd and 7.
Uh-huh.
We get a false start.
Oh.
I think it was Titus had a false start. And then we go to 2nd and 12. Then the very next play, we lose 3 yards. We lose 3 yards on it. So now we're 2nd and, I don't know what it was. I put it 2nd and 12.
15. It's that
we lose 3, so it's 15. And then when we got the penalty, the first thing that went through my mind was, and I was a little frustrated at that time.
I'm frustrated with your answer, Coach.
I did not want to do anything to hurt us. And then, because Cam, as a punter, we had the ball right there about the 49-yard line. I figured that, you know, he's been very, very good at being able to pin him back. And I was thinking that, but again, that was just out of frustration on my part because of the series that we were having at that time. But no, if I had that to do over again, I would take the penalty and give our offense a chance to get the first down, which is what I should have done.
As I hear this for the 14th time today, maybe he isn't being honest. I mean, because part of me really wants to believe David Coley. Yeah, I blew that one. I really wish I had that one back. But as he goes through and explains that series, I think what I just heard him say was, yeah, I wanted to punt the ball. We were going backwards. Get the offense off the field. We sucked. Why would I give him another opportunity on 3rd and forever to even lose even more yards? I got a good punter. Let him punt him back. I look at this and go, I appreciate David Coley's honesty there, though. He knows he screwed that one up. Even the referee was like, you know, 'cause I watched maybe 10 total minutes of the Texans game, so I got to actually see that part live. The referee, are you declining this? No, you're not declining this. Are you sure you don't want to decline this? Are you sure? You're really sure? You're just going to punt the ball. You get an extra down. You know that, right? It's here in the rule book. I don't even know why. I'm glad I asked because I would have just assumed you would have taken the penalty, so keep it 3rd down. Coley, you sure? You sure? I'm trying to save you, Coach. That referee couldn't believe it when he was making that call. And this penalty is declined? I double-checked 3 times. I don't know. All right, punt team. That's what it is. We'll talk more about the Cowboys coming up at 5 o'clock with the Moose. Daryl Johnston, 3-time Super Bowl champ, is going to join us. We'll talk with Jeff Traylor of the victorious UTSA Roadrunners at 5:30. But coming up next, we'll talk some college football with Peter Burns of the SEC Network. He joins us next after I tell you about my friends over at Alamo Water Softeners. You know, they have the perfect solution for your family's complete water treatment. They have the top-of-the-line CareSoft Elite Plus 1 filter on sale right now, where you can save $1,000 on this advanced 2-stage system built to protect your family from harmful contaminants. Save $1,000 on the CareSoft Elite Plus 1 system while supplies last. Now, I've had a water softener in my home from Alamo Water Softeners for about a decade. Wouldn't live without one. They're a great locally owned, family-run business by the Townsends, who are great people. They've got a great product, great service, and that is why they were voted a 2020 neighborhood favorite on the Nextdoor app. They provide the best value for the highest quality water treatment. And take advantage of this special and save $1,000 on the CareSoft Elite Plus 1 system. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com. Peter Burns next after we get a Sports Center update from James Pledger. Pledge?
Thanks a lot, Jason. Well, as you said, in the NFL, the Texans fell 31-21 to the Cleveland Browns, but Tyrod Taylor injured his hamstring in the first half of that win. According to reports, within the last 10 minutes, he could miss up to a month while dealing with a grade 2 hamstring. This according to Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network. The Dallas Cowboys got their first win as they improved to 1-1 with the 2017 walk-off winner against the LA Chargers as Greg DeLeg hit the game winner. 56-yard field goal as time expired. In college football from over the weekend, the 7th-ranked Texas A&M Aggies blew out New Mexico 34-0. Casey Thompson, in his first start, led the Longhorns to a 58-0 win over Rice. The UTSA Roadrunners improved to 3-0 as they beat Middle Tennessee 27-13. Don't forget, UTSA head coach Jeff Traylor will join the Blitz coming up here at 5:30. Texas Tech got a 54-21 over FIU to improve to 3-0 as well, while the Incarnate Word Cardinals went into San Marcos and beat the Texas State Bobcats by a score of 42-34 as Cameron Moore would throw for 376 yards and 4 touchdowns in the win. I'm James Pledger for San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Sports Center is brought to you by Kielbasa Slow Crafted Sausage, available at your local grocery stores.
If you're having any issues at the house with your plumbing or your AC, you know there is one company to call, and that is Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC, 210-651-5899. At Quartermoon, they are experts at worst-case scenarios. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. At Quartermoon, they do not have commission sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned that A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. It's about emergencies with your AC or your plumbing, but it's also about that time of year where you start thinking about your heater. Yeah, we got a cool front coming in this week, they tell us. Cool, we'll see. But you want to make sure your unit gets checked out. Make sure it's ready for when you do have to pop on the heater. At Quartermoon, they do have great maintenance programs that ensures your unit is ready for every season. So call Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC, 210-651-5899, 651-5899, or online, quartermoonplumbing.com.
For nearly 30 years, Thomas J. Henry has fought day in and day out for every client we've had the honor of representing. In our town, in our community, we will always be the name you trust. Thomas J. Henry, available 24/7 nights and weekends. San Antonio, Texas.
Now's the time to get a great deal on Kubota construction equipment, featuring durable Kubota engines, more comfort, more productivity, more get it done right. The Kubota construction lineup shows up ready to work every day. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 48 months, or save up to $7,000. Now through September 30th, 2021. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com.
From the Gulf of Mexico to the hill country of Texas, Ewald Kubota is your Kubota dealer.
If you think vaccines alone will protect you from COVID-19, think again. More breakthrough cases of COVID variants show that vaccinated people are still vulnerable to the deadly disease. To be safe, monitor regularly for fever, as it's the leading sign of COVID-19. Use Exergen, the only thermometer scientifically proven to detect fever. And beware of non-contact devices that miss 5 out of 6 fevers. Remember, vaccines are not enough. So protect yourself and your family with the Exergen temporal scanner. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Hey, it's Ariana Grande.
And Blake Shelton.
And I'm so excited to join The Voice this season.
I'll put it on social media so everyone knows. Now get ready to hear the likes pouring in. Darn, the internet must be broken again.
I'll just give it a try on mine, just in case. Huh. Guess they fixed the internet.
The new season of The Voice with Ariana Grande premieres tonight on NBC.
Okay, now you're just rubbing it in.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
It's the best offer ever at Diamonds Direct. 5 years, 0 interest financing. And this weekend, the focus is on Veragio. Handcrafted in New York, Veragio is the only bridal designer that allows you to truly personalize your ring from the inside out. We've flown in the entire Veragio collection for this special event. So come and express your individual style this Friday and Saturday. Discover the Veragio difference and enjoy 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Get details, store hours, and directions at diamondsdirect.com.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
It's the Home and Auto Bundle Extrava Festa Save-a-thon, the annual year-long event where you can save big by bundling Home and Auto with Progressive. So big that we're kicking things off with fireworks, a monster truck battle, a fighter jet flyover, and it wouldn't be a party without the Home and Auto Bundle Extrava Festa Save-a-thon dancers. You can't really hear them, but trust us, they are working it. So come for the fun and stay for the savings. Only at Progressive's Home and Auto Bundle Extrava Festa Save-a-thon. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
You're ready to get out and get moving. And whether it's surfing, playing tennis, or hiking every path you can find, you're going to need some essential new gear. Essentials that are even more rewarding with the Bank of America customized cash rewards credit card. You can choose to earn 3% cash back on online shopping, which could increase to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member. Visit bankofamerica.com/more rewarding and apply now. The essentials have never felt more rewarding. Copyright 2021 Bank of America Corporation.
Second it takes. The Blitz with Jason Minix and Sports Insiders. San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. 3-time Super Bowl champion Daryl Moose Johnston will join us at 5 o'clock, talk some Cowboys. But right now, we have to interrupt Peter Burns' workout to talk some SEC football. Burns, you're calling from the gym?
I know. I'm so disappointed in myself anymore. I mean, here I am doing like Paw Patrol. I hardly drink any alcohol. I'm trying to eat healthy. I mean, I don't even know who I am anymore, Minix. Like, you wouldn't even recognize this version of myself any longer.
It's called Dad Bod, and it should be celebrated.
Oh, trust me. Yeah, it's not. I mean, we're not trying like a 6-pack. I'm just trying to get like a 4-pack. So that way I can eat like just like Girl Scout cookie season can come back around and I can just engulf myself in those. So that's the game plan right now.
And now wait a minute, because I follow you on social. I know I haven't seen you in person. It seems like in forever, but I think a lot of us can say that because of COVID. Let's see. A couple weeks ago, you all kinds of stuff happening there in your hometown, and I thought you were drunk for about 36 straight hours. You play golf at some of the most incredible golf courses, unless you've got some incredible photoshopping skills. You're probably still going with a size 30 waist and swinging the clubs pretty good.
I just can't do it as good as I used to. Actually, I was drinking way too much in college, and that's why I got kicked off the UTSA golf team. So I think that's kind of why at least I'm playing a little bit better now that I'm actually focused.
Wait, so you play sober golf? That's a thing?
Dude, that's the bad part about it is I play sober golf because I actually think I'm still decent. But yeah, to me, again, the only thing I watch having too many cocktails is watching Florida State football, because you kind of need to be drunk to watch them play football right now.
Yeah, that you definitely do. There are a lot of crazy upsets this weekend, although not as many good games, and that was that kind of that lull in the schedule. I think maybe one of the biggest surprises wasn't an upset, though. It was that the Florida Gators made it interesting with Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that Bama has become so good, Minix, that we look at it and go, oh my gosh, are they beatable? Like, that legit was the front page on ESPN.com. Not that they had been upset, not that they got their butt whipped, but it was like, wow, somebody kept it close with them. But, I mean, that's a credit to what Saban has built, and every other coach is trying to get to that point right now. I mean, Dan Mullen, the Florida coach, did a hell of a job getting those guys ready to play. And, Dan Mullen, he coached Dak Prescott, Tim Tebow. So he's always been known kind of as a quarterback, guru, right? But what I was impressed with is even when they were down 21-3 in the first quarter, they stuck to the game plan, which was run the ball. And that's the first time since I think 2007 that somebody's outrushed Alabama for over 150 yards more. So maybe that's a blueprint for Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, or, Georgia down the road. But yeah, it was kind of like when, Ivan Drago, he gets, cut, and all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh. In Rocky IV, you're like, I mean, maybe this guy can go down.
We'll see. Peter Burns of the SEC Network joining us here on the Blitz. I did not see any of the Alabama-Florida game live, only the highlights. So I'll ask you knucklehead questions coming from the extent that after the A&M New Mexico game was more or less over, after I saw you reference Robert Earl during the halftime, we went down to the UTSA game and started tailgating. But what I saw from the Alabama game is they were up big early. They scored 21 points in that first quarter. Did Alabama just go into cruise control and Florida made it a game, or did Florida make it a game and Alabama had no answer?
No, I mean, I think it was a little bit of both, right? I mean, I don't think any team led by Nick Saban's just going to be like, all right, we're good. We're just going to phone it in, because that's a sure way to get on the bench, and you might not ever get off the bench under Nick Saban with that attitude. But it was about, Dan Mullen adjusting and saying, hey, listen, what we're going to do is we think there's some, there's some opportunities to run the ball, which nobody ever really tries against Alabama, which is kind of crazy, right? Like, they all of a sudden get down, so they think, well, we need to pass it, and that plays right into Nick Saban's hands. So, I talked to two coaches earlier today, kind of off the record, and just said, hey, we loved it because it was a way to tell our offensive coordinators, hey, maybe this is a time that we don't need to try to throw the ball all over them. We stick to the run, try to limit the amount of possessions the team has, and have some success. I mean, that's kind of what teams have done against Oklahoma and Spencer Rattler to a certain extent, or tried to, and that's what they're doing to Alabama right now.
That's exactly what it looks like. And it's interesting because, you look at Georgia, the Georgia-South Carolina game, you talk about coaches, and it's not often you get honesty from a lot of head coaches. We all know that they lie to us, but I couldn't be more impressed with South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer and what he had to say. Maybe one of the most honest answers you're ever going to hear from a coach. Here's what Coach Beamer said after the game against Georgia.
They've got 100 5-star football players on their defense. They have a defensive lineman that weighs 340 pounds and runs better than everybody on this call. They've got 5-star defensive backs. They're big and physical and fast. I mean, other than that, they're really freaking good. That's why they have the top defense in the country. They're hard to run the football on. So there wasn't some magical scheme they came out with tonight. They got 5-star recruits everywhere, and they play really physical. Damn.
I mean, don't you just appreciate the honesty?
Oh man, Shane's my boy, and I've known Shane since he was on Kirby Smart's staff. He was a special teams coach, and I would talk to him about it, and he was like, "Man, we're just recruiting at such a clip." And now going into that game, he's like, "Listen, they're bigger, they're better, they're faster than us. What am I supposed to do?" He's like, "I'm going to coach my butt off and just he goes, I'm going to use it as a way to kind of say, this is where we need to go with our program. But I mean, they're the best team in college football right now, the Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, I had Missouri head coach Eli Drinkwitz on my show this morning. He goes, it should be illegal the fact that Will Muschamp is a special teams coach for him, right? So not only are they stockpiling 5-star players, they have really good coaches as well that are coaching like special teams. So, I mean, it's an arms race in the SEC. And frankly, right now, Georgia's the best team in the country. They are by far the most complete team through the first 3 weeks of the season.
And that includes Alabama.
Yeah, that includes Alabama. I mean, right now, if you need to tell me I had Georgia and Alabama and they played 10 times, I think Georgia's winning 7 or 8 times out of that 10 right now.
I can't say that I disagree with you much, except I got to see Alabama lose before I'm actually going to go out on that limb. It's kind of like in the NFL. Who's the best team in the NFL right now? Not named Tampa Bay. And, let that. But it's hard to argue with what we've seen out of those Georgia Bulldogs. As we look ahead to this next week, I don't even want to talk much about A&M New Mexico. I mean, it was exactly what you thought it would be, maybe a little lower scoring for A&M than you thought it was going to be, but I thought they did a good job of keeping that one in control. But those Aggies have a tough test this week, or do they? How good is Arkansas? I mean, and I couch that. We know what they did to Texas. Is Arkansas better than we thought, or was it just one of those weird kind of games? Like how full are the A&M hands going to be this week in a neutral site game, which I hate? This game should be on one of the campuses.
This game will be on one of the campuses. As soon as this contract is over, I know, Ross Bjork, the AD at Texas A&M, kind of had some comments, and Hunter Yurchek as well, the AD at Arkansas. I think they kind of understand, hey, Jerry had this contract under previous administrations, and I think at 2024, they're not going to renew that, would be my hunch. And they'll be home and home, which is good for both Texas A&M and Arkansas, who think they have a good home field advantage. Arkansas is legit, man. And the thing is they had a bunch of guys that returned for one last year, right? Because of the COVID situation, and they're really well coached. Kendall Briles is their offensive coordinator. Barry Odom, the former Missouri head coach, is their defensive coordinator. So they're just really, really sound. Talent-wise, A&M has more talent, except on the offensive line, and that's really the question mark. If I'm an Aggie fan right now, going, all right, Calzada looked good. The defense under Mike Elko is awesome, right? Might be the second best defense behind Georgia in the country, but they get zero push running the ball. And if that's the case, and you're going to have a bunch of third and longs against Barry Odom's defense and Arkansas's front seven, that could be a long, long day in Jerry world, and Arkansas may end up upsetting the Aggies.
I look at watching Zach Calzada and their offensive line, and granted, it's New Mexico. They got pressure on them, and I don't know if I really, I've got 2 games, Colorado and New Mexico. Zach Calzada doesn't seem to have much pocket presence. He doesn't feel the rush. He doesn't have that inner clock, that little hair on the back of his neck that's going to say, you better climb up in the pocket, feel that pressure coming from the backside. He'll get killed against a team that can get a good pass rush.
Yeah, and Arkansas can do that because they got some beast up front. They got a great linebacker core, and the secondary is just coached extremely well with Catalan in the back, and they got some playmakers. So, I mean, the thing is, too, I give Calzada a pass, right? I mean, this guy, he's new to college football, still trying to learn it. I mean, I think what's happened over the last couple of years is we've had guys like Tua and Jalen Hurts and all these great quarterbacks that jump on the scene and they're great automatically. And we're like, oh, okay, well, quarterbacking is easy. Well, guess what? It's not for 115 other teams, right? Right now, the Aggies just happen to be one of those teams. And that's what happens when you replace 4 of your top 5 offensive linemen. Like, it ain't easy. And A&M's figuring that out.
They certainly are. Peter Burns from the SEC Network. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Peter Burns ESPN. You can watch him. You can listen to him. He'll even send you golf tips for a small fee as he gets in on the NIL deal. Peter, get back to the workout, my friend. Always appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
I'll do it for like 3 El Mirasol margaritas right now. If you could just send me a jug of those would be perfect. So we'll do it soon. Later, Minix.
Appreciate it. Peter Burns, as he joins us every week here on the Blitz. We'll talk more college football coming up. Jeff Traylor, the head football coach at UTSA, he's going to join us at 5:30. The Moose, Daryl Johnston, 3-time Super Bowl champ, will join us in about 15 minutes. Let me tell you about Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram truck, part of the Ancira I-10 Auto Complex. Very easy for me to tell you about and recommend Ancira, because I am a long-time Ancira customer. Through the years, I have bought many vehicles from Ancira, including one that I have now, my daughter's car, my niece's car. Half the people at the radio station are driving Ancira vehicles, and it's because of their great customer service before, during, and most importantly, after the sale. That is why Ancira has been a top family-run dealership in San Antonio for decades. They're going to make sure you're getting the vehicle you want with all the options and features that you're looking for. They'll give you great value on your trade-in, the best rebates and financing options that are available, and you know price made Ancira number one. Price keeps Ancira number one. So think Ancira. And if you think Ancira this month of September, get yourself a car. You're going to get a couple of tickets to go to a UTSA football game. So go see them at Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram truck, part of the Ancira I-10 Auto Complex on I-10 West between Wurzbach and Huebner.
We've got your free tickets to see every Dallas Cowboys home game all season long. Register to win now at sasportstar.com. Cheer on America's team on your home for Cowboys football. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
You know, injuries do happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need to know about Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries, and he has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. And if you need surgery, you'll get referred to the specialist that's going to take care of your injury and get you out of pain, because there's no reason for you to be in pain. If you're hurting, start with Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Schedule an appointment by calling 210-804-5490, 804-5490, or learn more online, tsaog.com. That's tsaog.com.
Working from home, you realize you don't have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
The healthiest patients in San Antonio are at the Institute for Functional Health. I'm Dr. Torres, and we help folks get off medications, feel better, look better, and become undeniably healthy. You've struggled with the same health concerns for a long time. It's frustrating, depressing, and nothing has worked. The good news is, at the Institute for Functional Health, we know everyone is unique, and medicine is never a one-size-fits-all solution. That's why we order specific labs to uncover the root cause of your symptoms. Your blood gives us all the answers, and we develop a doctor-supervised game plan that is specifically designed for you. Over the last decade, we have helped thousands of individuals look and feel years younger. All of us at the Institute for Functional Health are proud to say we have the healthiest patients in San Antonio, and we will help you become part of that club. See for yourself at iffhealth.com and call to schedule your complimentary consultation at 468-1891. 468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health. 468-1891.
This back-to-school update is presented by the Exergen Temporal Scanner. How do you make masks fun for your kids? Here's CBS News senior medical correspondent, Dr. Tara Narula.
The best mask, most experts will say, is the one that your child will wear. So getting them involved in that choice, picking out the colors and styles they like, or letting them decorate it is always a good thing.
The leading sign of COVID is fever, so everyone needs an accurate thermometer. Try the Exergen Temporal Scanner and learn more at Exergen.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents
and Doug. And we're back with Limu, Emu, and Doug for the final question. Category is things you climb. All right, Limu, what do you think? You sure? We're going with Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. Oh, so close. We were looking for stairs. Huh. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Owning a business comes with pressure. There's a limit to what I can do and still keep employees engaged.
Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put 30-plus years of HR experience to work to help me with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance, while giving my employees competitive benefit options. And because I'm able to focus on other priorities, my employees can thrive and my business can grow. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
The Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles. Two bitter rivals, one big night. Let's go bring it out! Get the action live Monday starting at 7:15. Sponsored by Ewald Kubota, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This is Rudy J on your home for Cowboys football, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Appreciate you, Rudy J. I was with Rudy pretty much all day Saturday. I don't know how much he talked about it on R&R in the morning, but we tailgated hard. We watched a great first half of football. He took a great nap at halftime in the Alamo Dome, and then the man rallied in the second half. Then we ended up at the Roo Pub, and then Rudy J with a rookie mistake, although I appreciate it. He asked for his bill, and the lady says, all of it? And he said, yeah. So he ended up taking care of my bill, too, which was fantastic. And I knew that he got the wrong bill when he got it, and his eyes got really big, and he sobered up in a hurry. What? I owe him next time. In fact, Thursday, we're going to be live out at the Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road, doing the Blitz starting at 4 o'clock. You got the Texans and the Carolina Panthers on Thursday Night Football. So join us Thursday out at the Roo Pub. Pledge just put up dude's comment on our Facebook Live, Francisco. Parsons equals beast. Cowboys got him a good one. They really do. Edwarder tweeted out, in week 1, Micah Parsons played inside linebacker and forced 4 tight window targets, tied for most by any linebacker in 5 seasons per NFL Next Gen stats. In week 2, he was a stand-up defensive end, led all edge rushers in pass rush win rate, beating his block within 2.5 seconds 39% of the time. He caused a lot of havoc. Micah Parsons proving it to be the real deal. We'll have Moose Johnston join us at 5 o'clock, Jeff Traylor at 5:30. And I want to get into something. We got a short show today because of Rangers football. We do want to wish everybody a happy Big 3 day, 9/20/21. You get it? Tony, Manu, Timmy. It's pretty cool. I like it. I'm down with it. Pledge sent me a deal about the Spurs all-time roster. And this really isn't the kind of topic that you want to do on a football Monday. But if Pledge sends it to me and I go, hey, that's kind of interesting. Now, I look at this. The starters, I think, are easy. Tony, Manu, George, Tim, and David. The bench, according to whoever Pledge found this, it's one of them kind of websites with 1,000 ads every time you hit click next. You know, it's one of them ad grabbers. The bench has Silas, DeRozan, Kennan, Mitchell, Aldridge, Johnson, and Alvin Robertson. No Kawhi, no Bruce Bowen, no Sean Elliott. We got dudes with retired numbers that do not make the all-time roster. I find that to be pretty interesting. You know, as I think about Jeff Traylor coming up at 5:30, and I'm not going to beat this over the coach's head because he can only do so much, and he's doing everything he can. But I was in the Alamo Dome Saturday. I was tailgating, and it's been a long time since I've tailgated at a UTSA game. The Bird Gang and the couple others that I went to, the Rowdy Rotors or whatever they were, I mean, you guys do it right. There was good food, lots of good drinks. There was a crazy drinking game with Thunderstruck. I saw former Vikings tight end David Morgan empty a beer in about 2.3 seconds. I've never seen somebody shotgun a beer faster than David Morgan, who's never tailgated in his life because he's always been a football player. He's out of the league now, right? So I had a lot of fun. Go inside, 16,000 people. They had 16,000 last week. And I saw a friend of ours, the guy that does UTSA radio, Andy, he posted, why aren't people coming to the game? And it's such a great question because they're winning and they're a fun football team to watch. Moose Johnston's going to join us in about 5 minutes. I worked with Moose with the Commanders, and I see the attendance numbers that the Commanders put up. This is a football-hungry city. What's keeping you from the Dome? Is it COVID? It can't be ticket prices. They're only $10. It's easy to get to the Dome. It's fun. It's air conditioning. My goodness. After being outside tailgating, walking into the AC was a wonderful thing. And I know the coach can only do so much. Is it the fact that UTSA doesn't appear to do a lot of marketing that, hey, we got a football game this Saturday, come out? Is it fan apathy? You still think Frank Wilson is the coach? You think they're not playing teams that you've heard of, although you should have heard of Middle Tennessee State. UNLV is coming up as their next home game. Or is it because UTSA isn't your number one? They're your chick on the side to Texas or to Texas A&M or to SMU or to Baylor or Texas Tech or whoever. Because I know for me, like last week for their first game, I saw when A&M was playing, I saw when Texas was playing, I saw who they were playing. I wanted to watch those games. So I didn't go to the Dome. This past weekend, Texas A&M played early against a gimme with New Mexico. Texas was playing late against Rice. That was going to be a gimme. I looked at the schedule and said, this is the game I'm going to. How much of that is there? What is keeping you from supporting this good UTSA Roadrunner football team? Tweet me at Jason Minix. I just want an understanding. Is it because the diehards are there? It's the casual fans that they need to go capture. Because after 16 last week and the push that they've had, I thought there would probably be 20, 25. You're playing a Middle Tennessee State. Texas is playing Rice. A&M played New Mexico at 11 a.m. The schedule worked out perfectly to pack the Dome. And they were still at 16,000. Just out of curiosity, let me know on Twitter, at Jason Minix. Let's talk to the Moose. 3-time Super Bowl champion, analyst with Fox Sports. He had that New Orleans-Carolina game yesterday. Daryl the Moose Johnston. He joins us next here on the Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Fall baseball and crisp air and that special sound. A crack of the bat in Major League Baseball, the playoff run, and the Fall Classic. The World Series can be heard right here.
What's going to make that memorable moment that stands the test of time?
Swing and a high fly ball. Right field. On its way out of here.
Follow it all right here. Major League Baseball's playoffs and World Series from San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Rudy J here, and I want to tell you about Enrique Custom Vision. Dr. Enrique has performed over 58,000 laser vision corrections, and he's the only Z-LASIK trainer in the area. He treats nearsightedness, farsightedness, and even astigmatism. And all procedures are blade-free and pain-free, and they just take seconds per eye. Get the vision you deserve without glasses and contacts. Call 354-2020 today to get the Enrique difference. Don't compromise your only set of eyes. Call 354-2020 today.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to get everything you need. Right now, get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $28.95 and earn double O rewards points with your purchase. Protect your engine against sludge and wear with Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil. On sale now at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Howdy, San Antonio. Chip Ingram from the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, inviting you to come out and enjoy patio season. We have newly remodeled patios, garage doors, and everything else you need to enjoy this great South Texas weather. As always, ice cold beer and specialty drinks. Happy hours daily from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And our kitchen is open from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. See you soon at the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant at 281 and Redland Road.
Here in Texas, the heat is relentless, the storms are serious, the hail is insane. Texas weather doesn't do anything halfway, and neither should your roofer. Your roof protects your home and your family. So whether you need a simple repair or a roof replacement, metal or composition, you need a roofer you can trust. That's Stevens Roofing. They are reputable, reliable, and have always been your local roofer. Call Stevens Roofing today for a free estimate at 210-785-0994 or go to stevensroofing.net.
If your spouse's search history includes single and ready to mingle, you may want to reboot your situation. Call divorcedude.com at 210-201-0303 and ask for Mark, the Divorce Dude with Polling Law PLLC. Divorcedude.com can help you get a fast, affordable, agreed divorce. But if you want to fight, the Divorce Dude can fight for you. DivorceDude.com gives you easy legal options and sticks with you every step of the way. If the marriage is over, why fight? DivorceDude.com.
This is the home of the Cowboys, Rangers, and Aggie football. KCDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Jason Minix, the Blitz.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you on this Monday afternoon. And boy, you better be glad you're listening now, because starting today and every Monday throughout the rest of the season, our next guest is going to join us. Three-time Super Bowl champion, Daryl Johnston, the Moose. Mondays with the Moose and Minix and either way, we'll come up with something, Daryl. It's good to catch up with you, my friend. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, it's really good to catch up. It's been a while.
So many fun times with the Commanders and getting to know you then, and obviously your football knowledge. And, going into the game yesterday for the Dallas Cowboys, starting with Tampa Bay and then getting the Chargers on the road. A lot of people are saying, 0-2, but look who they're playing. If you play well, the moral victory thing. 1-1 is so much better, and it's the way the Cowboys did it yesterday that was impressive. They didn't need to score plus 30 to get out of L.A. with a win. That, to me, was the most impressive part of the win yesterday.
I agree, and it kind of validates the direction they're going defensively under Dan Quinn, and that's very promising. At the beginning of the year, if you look at what they have on the offensive side of the ball, they've got the potential to hang and play with anybody. The question is, will the defense be able to keep them in those games? And I said, they don't have to be great. They just have to be good, because last year they really, really struggled. And it didn't really matter how many points the offense was able to put up. It just seemed like there were so many times that the defense just couldn't hold on to any type of lead. So, that performance yesterday, on the road against what I think is going to be a very underrated LA Chargers team. I think they're going to surprise some people. They're playing in the tough AFC West, but that's a really quality win, in my opinion. And after playing the defending champs, as well as they did on Thursday night, and yeah, I agree with you. There are no moral victories, but you learned a lot about your team, and they were able to carry that over to have an impressive road win.
When you look at Daryl last week against Tampa, Dak had to throw it 58 times, and they didn't run it a whole lot. Yesterday, 31 rushing attempts, only 27 passing attempts. Tampa Bay took away the run. It looked like the Chargers wanted to take away the pass. Or was that kind of the plan going in, or was it, am I reading that the same way? The defense was there, and Kellen Moore called a great game, saying, if you're going to give us the run, we're gonna feed Zeke and Tony Pollard.
Yeah, I think when you go back to the Tampa game, it reminded me of when we played the Philadelphia Eagles in the early 90s. Norv Turner would tell us, listen, we're going to start out this game, we're going to be a little bit pass heavy. So offensive line, just hang in there. We're going to get back to that run game, but this is a really, really good front. Let's get them to rush the passer. Let's chase some things sideline to sideline. we're going to come back to the run in the second half. But when we start out, we're going to be a little pass heavy. And I think that, what I heard was, there were multiple occasions where Dak took a run play called, and then at the line of scrimmage made a change to a pass. And they were good audibles at the line of scrimmage. They were productive in the yards that they averaged on the plays that he changed. So I think there's a couple elements working there in that Tampa game. You're exactly right when you talk about the Chargers and Brandon Staley and what he does, what the Vic Fangio defense does, and really the spin that Brandon Staley's put on that. And there's actually some people that call it, a dome coverage. They are not going to let you get behind them. They are not going to give up that explosive play. They're going to play four guys in the secondary. They're not going to drop a safety down into the box. So you've got a lighter box. You got a 7-man box as opposed to an 8-man box. So to your point, Kellen Moore should see that, and then all of a sudden you start to lean a little bit more heavy on the run because that's where the numbers are that favor you. So I think it's two completely different approaches in weeks 1 and 2, and the exciting thing to that is Dallas is able to be productive in either one of those environments. And that, again, brings us back to that defense. If that defense can continue to improve week to week and kind of get to that same level where the offense is now, hey, if we're playing against a heavy pass team, we feel comfortable that we can hang with them. Hey, if we're going to go in against a team that likes to run the ball and get a little bit, nasty down there in the trenches, we can hang with them as well. So I think you're seeing the team start to grow up and gain a little bit of confidence.
And you talk about gaining confidence, Daryl. I mean, you look at the defense, and as bad as they were last year, historically bad, to hold the Chargers team to 17, and I know there were 2 touchdowns taken off the board because of flags, and, I mean, you can't control that. I mean, refs do affect the outcome of games, and depending on how the flags are going is going to depend on how mad you are at the officials. But a win like this, especially without a Randy Gregory and without a DeMarcus Lawrence, what does that do for the overall confidence? It's a 2-part question. Plus, is it really just the difference of what Dan Quinn is doing versus what Mike Nolan was doing last year?
Well, on the first part of that, it's going to be a huge boost to their confidence. When you're able to do that, go on the road against a quality team and win without your full complement of your roster, that can't do anything but gain confidence. And, especially for the guys who are in those backup positions that are stepping into those roles of the starters. So that's huge there. The other part 2 was
Dan Quinn, the difference he's made in 2 games versus what we saw last year from Mike Nolan.
The big thing there is the personnel that Dallas had. Now, remember, the transition to Mike Nolan was from Rod Marinelli. So you'd had a personnel group, your defensive players, who you've been acquiring in the draft and free agency and building that defense, for the Rod Marinelli scheme, did not really fit the Mike Nolan scheme. It's a completely different style. It's a 2-gap. It's bigger bodies inside. It's kind of a mix of even and odd fronts. You're trying to be a little bit more multiple. Dan is going to be more similar to what Rod Marinelli was doing from his standpoint, from his philosophy. It's more of an even front. It's the roles that you're going to ask your player to do. So I think transitioning back from Mike Nolan into what Dan Quinn was going to install was going to be relatively easily. I still felt that the personnel there were going to fit that scheme much better than they did when Mike was the defensive coordinator. And then you bring in a couple of guys and you go find the guys who, based on their skill set, are going to be a complement as well. So I just think that there's a lot of things you can throw into. I mean, Mike Nolan didn't have the benefits of an off season. Everything was being done virtually. That was going to be a hard lift for Mike Nolan. You're changing scheme where personnel is going to be questioned as to the fit, and you're having to do that without being able to be on the field with them to really get into the details and the nuts and bolts of that change. So I just think it was a very, very heavy lift last year for Mike Nolan.
Daryl Johnston, the Moose, 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Cowboys, now an analyst with Fox, joining us here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Daryl, you've been around football your whole life. when you heard Mike McCarthy say, with 33 seconds left, the clock went out, and he didn't realize what was going on with the clock, and a cameraman was apparently blocking Kellen Moore, so they had no idea that the clock was continuing the run all the way down to 4 seconds. When you heard that, did you think, come on, Coach, nobody's buying that?
You got to take a man at his word, right? I've had the opportunity to meet Mike McCarthy, and as absurd as that sounds, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt right now. And one of the things you learn is we didn't lose the game because of really, really poor clock management. So let's make sure this never ever happens again. I remember a game at AT&T, and Major Applewhite was the quarterback for Texas, and he was looking at the play clock and thought it was the game clock, and the game clock was actually lower than the play clock, and they almost lost the opportunity for a kick because he had his eyes on the wrong clock because of the color of the numbers. And sometimes stadiums are configured, there's some things that are going on. SoFi is brand new. There can be some truth to that. Now, the fact that it's kind of falling between the cracks with all those people there, you'd hope to have some safeguards and some backups in place where that didn't cost you a football game. So I'm going to take Mike at his word on that one, but also know that next week and the rest of the season that there's no possibility of that happening again.
I will say you are kinder than I am, because there's too many assistants and the players. Somebody had to know that clock is running. We got to call a timeout. Although I will say, and this as a broadcaster, when you get to a stadium, especially one that you aren't familiar with, first thing you do as a broadcaster, first thing I do anyway, is look for all the clocks and see where they're giving me the info, which ones stay there and which ones go away that could turn into a digital ad at some point where I thought it was going to have some statistical information that I would use during the broadcast. So I could see some of that, but somebody on that staff had to know that clock was running. I'm not buying that. At 56 yards, they felt they were in comfortable field goal range and wanted to take it all the way down and call the timeout with 4 at 56 yards, especially after last week when Zuerlein missed an extra point and a field goal.
See, I'd rather hear that they were obstructed from the clock and they couldn't see the clock and they didn't realize it was going down to 4 seconds than to hear we felt very confident in Greg Zuerlein at 56. To me, that's the cop-out, is when you say, yeah, I'm real comfortable with my guy kicking from 56 that hit the upright on a PAT and yanked the 32-yard field goal against the defending Super Bowl champs.
I'm with you there. Daryl Johnston with us here on the Blitz. Now, huge win for the Cowboys. You had an interesting game yesterday on Fox that, last week when they beat Green Bay, I said, Jameis had a couple of weeks to prepare for nothing but the Packers. Let's see what he's able to do on a short week. And 26-7. Woo! I mean, you had that game, and every time they showed it on the Red Zone channel, I was like, all right, I'm going to ask Daryl about this. I'm going to ask Daryl about that. How surprised were you with the performance you saw from the Saints?
I was surprised by the offense. I think that there's some, I'm not going to say, you're going to be hard-pressed where you're going to get into excuses. And I loved Sean Payton in his post-game press conference where, everything that you're going to say, did this have an impact on the game? That's not what I'm going to use, all right? Those are excuses. The COVID situation with the coaching staff, the amount of inactives on the defensive side of the ball, everything that's gone on from an adversity standpoint against the Saints, Sean Payton will not allow his players or staff to use as something that had an impact on the game. But when we got the inactive list before the game, I was concerned. Right away you look at that and you're like, wow, I expected Marshawn Lattimore to play. He had a chip removed from his thumb, but he played with a cast last week. I thought, as a day-to-day, he was going to be there. C.J. Gardner-Johnson went down in practice last Wednesday. Tanu Passanio was out. You're losing key guys in your pass rush and your coverage, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson was going to be one of the guys that was going to help with the Christian McCaffrey packages. So I knew right away when I saw not just the amount of defensive players, but who they were, that it was going to be really, really challenging for the Saints to slow that offense down, because I really felt that the skill set for Carolina when you take away Aaron Rodgers, just take that quarterback position out. But when you're talking wide receiver, running back, tight end, I felt that Carolina was stronger than Green Bay was. So, how are the Saints defense going to do? I was disappointed that the offense wasn't able to play complementary football and kind of carry the burden for the team that day. They had their starting center, Eric McCoy, out, but he went out in the fifth snap last week against Green Bay. So there was really no change in what was going on the offensive side of the ball. And they have to know that with their defense being impacted as much as they were, hey, the onus is on us today. We've got to play, lights out. We've got to carry this team today. And that's what great teams do during the course of the season. There's going to be an ebb and flow to what side of the ball is healthy. And if one side's down, the other side's got to lift up the entire team. And I didn't see the Saints offense do that. And that would be the biggest concern for me. And post game, Sean Payton said, that you can throw that on me. I did not call a good game. I did not put our guys in a position to make plays. So we'll see where the Saints really are. Were they 38-3 better than Green Bay? I don't think so. Are they 26-7 to Carolina? I don't think so. I think they're somewhere there in between those two performances. And that's the great thing. The first month of the NFL is you really start to get an idea exactly who the teams are.
I know. And you look at, we're 2 weeks in with the Monday night game coming up with Green Bay and Detroit. Outside of Tampa Bay, who is the best team, or who are the better teams, do you think, in the NFL after the first 2 weeks?
I think the Bills had a nice bounce back. Still kind of strange with the Pittsburgh loss week one, especially with Pittsburgh losing to Las Vegas, on Sunday. And that's the hard part, is taking the first 2 weeks of the season together. I think there's some very inconsistent performances by some of the teams that we thought were going to be good. I think Cleveland is still a team to watch. I like their style of football. I like the way they've built that team. I think there's somebody that can compete with Kansas City. It was a tough loss for them in week one, losing a 12-point lead twice during the course of that game. They've got to find a way to finish against Kansas City. That seems to be their biggest problem. I think they can hang with them and stretch them and scare them, but they've got to find a way to finish against Kansas City. What Baltimore did last night was extremely impressive. So, are they back into the mix when you're talking about the top teams in the AFC? In the NFC, I thought the Rams game was closer than I anticipated. Still trying to figure out exactly who the Indianapolis Colts are. But they hung there with the Rams, and that, kind of makes you think that we're not really sure exactly, who the LA Rams are going to be. Kind of the same with Seattle. The NFC West, came out of that first week, looking pretty tough. And, after this past week, you're kind of, trying to figure it out. We saw Minnesota, and the fact that Minnesota stretched Arizona, makes me consider, is Arizona as good as they looked, week one? But I also know that Minnesota did not play well against Cincinnati. So I think we're still learning about all the teams. Is there anybody that can challenge Tampa Bay in the NFC? That's going to be the question for me. And right now, after the first 2 weeks, I'm going to say that there's a gap there between the next best team or teams, and they've got to improve during the course of the season. But that's what the regular season is for. It's to get everything sorted out, find your identity, and then when you get into the playoffs, take your best shot at the best teams there are in the NFL.
It's going to be fun as we continue on 2 weeks in, and we're going to get to do this with the Moose, Daryl Johnston, every Monday here on the Blitz. And next Monday, we'll be getting ready for a Cowboys-Eagles game. Daryl, have a good week, man. We'll talk to you next week.
You got it. Look forward to it, Jason. Take care.
Appreciate it. Daryl Johnston, the Moose, 3-time Super Bowl champion, analyst with Fox. What do you think? Mondays with the Moose? Moose and Minix? Minix and Moose?
I like Minix and Moose.
Well, we joked about that when he was with the Commanders and we would do the coaches show when Riley didn't show up. I don't know. We'll go from there. It's going to be fun talking to Daryl every week about football. And I'll ask you guys the same question I just asked him. 2 weeks in, besides Tampa Bay, who's the best team? I mean, it's way too early to tell. Cowboys have looked good 2 weeks in a row, even though they are 1-1. And I think that there's a handful of teams that have looked good 2 weeks in a row, but then I don't know. I think there's other teams that are 1-1, and you go, boy, they're the Rams at 2-0 don't look all that great. I mean, the Rams barely beat the Colts. Hell, Carson Wentz sprained 2 ankles in that game. You feel bad for him. The Bills just destroying the Miami Dolphins 35-0. How does that happen? The Broncos are 2-0, but come on, that's not real. San Francisco, they struggled with the Philadelphia Eagles. Are the Eagles that good? Are the Eagles better than we thought they were? Or what do you think about San Francisco? I'll tell you what, the Raiders are impressive. I went with the Oakland Raiders in my bad quarterback league. I had a crap fantasy weekend. I'm just going to throw that out there. I just sucked this weekend. But the Raiders, and did Derek Carr get hurt? Did I see that scroll on my TV a few minutes ago that he hurt himself somewhere in there? But I went with the Raiders in my bad quarterback league because, well, quite frankly, they played on Monday night. They're going across country for an early game. That's typically not good for the West Coast teams. And I had a lot more belief in the Pittsburgh defense. That was a bad choice. The Cardinals are 2-0, barely. I was impressed with Minnesota yesterday in the loss. If you guys want to have a little fun, and I'm not one that ever makes fun of broadcasters, play-by-play types, because I understand how hard it is. But hearing Paul Allen on the radio call of the Minnesota Vikings, calling and celebrating that kick because he thought it went in is, well, I mean, part of it, you got to wait for the refs. And in the newer stadiums, you're basically in the end zone. He didn't see. I mean, it looked close, probably from his angle. It probably looked close. But, I mean, you call that a win and then backtracked in a hurry. That should never happen. Apparently, Carr is good to go. Lance, appreciate the info on your Raiders, my friend. They look good. John Gruden's got himself a team. They're going. And that game last night, Chiefs and Ravens, oh, my goodness. And we look at, and we all know about Kansas City's offense, but their defense has to step up. I mean, Lamar Jackson last night did some stuff. I mean, that jump pass Tebow style to Hollywood Brown. I had Hollywood on my bench in one of my leagues. I picked him up late. Did you had him on your bench in 2 leagues, Pledge?
I had him on my bench in a couple leagues too.
Hollywood Brown, I picked him up late. And I've got some injury receiver issues already and this and that. And I didn't start him because I had him last year and the kid never developed. And if I started him, he sucked. If I didn't start him, he had a big game. It was that Minix curse thing that he has. It's true. I don't know.
The trend continues.
If he see, I didn't start him last week either, and what did he have? Nothing last week.
Well, he had a touchdown last week.
Did he end up with one last week? I don't know. Sometimes I look at the projections, and maybe I shouldn't. But I'm waiting for Will Fuller to come back. I'm waiting for Odell to come back. If Odell comes back with Jarvis out, that's certainly going to help. You look at it, the Seattle Seahawks, they still have a lot of issues. I'm glad Derrick Henry remembered how to run. That was a hell of a game, watching it late. I mean, yesterday was a fun day of football, and then we get this Monday night game tonight that the only interest level really is, can Aaron Rodgers bounce back? Is Aaron Rodgers going to have a typical Aaron Rodgers game, and could he please throw a couple of touchdowns to Randall Cobb? If that could happen, that would certainly make my because I'm playing Michael Jimenez in fantasy. And I'm down like 14.
Why Randall Cobb?
Because he's the only thing I had available. I mean, look, I've got Amari Cooper in one of my leagues. In one of my leagues, my receivers combined to give me 5 freaking points. So anyway, you look at that, and Peyton and Eli. I've got to remember that Peyton and Eli are doing their thing today. I need to write it on my hand. I need to do something that will remind me not to just automatically go to ESPN, because I do want to hear what Peyton and Eli have to say about the game tonight and watch all the different guests that they're going to be rolling in. Then you're on to next week. And Pledge, you're Houston Texans. Hats off. that is a football team that is going to play hard.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were going to see the bad news bears. And somebody send Tyrod Taylor one of those candy bouquets, a hug, a teddy bear. I mean, how many jobs has he lost to rookies because he got hurt? I know it happened with the Chargers. Didn't it happen in Cleveland with Baker? Didn't it?
Buffalo.
After what I saw yesterday, it's not going to happen with Davis. I mean, Mills isn't going to completely take that job away, but he might. I mean, hell, you've got a head coach that's turning down penalties to keep the offense out there. Nah, dude, we're better off punting. Let's just go play defense. But I credit the Texans. They play hard for that coach. They love that coach. They're a better team than we thought. They're still not going to get but 5 wins. I have a feeling that's what we're going to see a lot from the Spurs this year. A team that efforts the hell out of things. They just don't have the pieces to win a whole bunch. That's just how it goes. Jeff Traylor's got pieces that know how to win. He's deep everywhere. Jeff Traylor, head football coach of the UTSA Roadrunners. He joins us next here on the Blitz. You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. Whether it's you, a family member, a friend of yours, you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast. Best way to do that is to call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text the word bail to 474747, or you can even start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. For stress-free bail bonds, you need to call AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They have payment plans available, offer a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, in the Valley, anywhere in between, license number 149. Call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or online, mybestbailbonds.com. Let's get a Sports Center update before Coach Traylor comes on. James Pledger with the headlines.
Thanks a lot, Jason. We'll start Major League Baseball this hour well, the Texas teams, they split over the weekend. The Houston Astros took 2 of 3 from the Diamondbacks with a 7-6 win in their rubber game, while the Rangers lost their rubber game, falling to the White Sox 7-2. Both teams hit the road today, as Houston is in Anaheim to take on the Angels, with first pitch set for 8:38, while the Rangers are in New York to take on the Yankees, with first pitch from Yankee Stadium set for 6:05. And you can catch that game right here on your home for Rangers baseball, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM right after the Blitz. The San Antonio Missions closed out their season with a 9-1 loss to the Corpus Christi Hooks, dropping that series 4-2. In the NFL, the Houston Texans fell over the weekend to the Cleveland Browns 31-21, as both quarterback Tyrod Taylor and rookie wide receiver Nico Collins both went down with injuries in the loss. The Dallas Cowboys got their first win, improving to 1-1 as they got a walk-off winner against the LA Chargers, 20-17, with Greg the Leg Zuerlein hitting the game-winning 56-yarder as time expired. I'm James Pledger for San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Go to AlamoWaterSofteners.com. Jason Minix here for my friends at Alamo Water Softeners. AlamoWaterSofteners.com. They have the perfect solution for your family's complete water treatment. They have the top-of-the-line CareSoft Elite Plus 1 filter on sale right now. You can save $1,000 on this advanced 2-stage system built to protect your family from harmful contaminants that may be in your water. I've had a water softener from Alamo Water Softeners in my home for about a decade. Wouldn't live without one. And Alamo Water Softeners is a great locally owned, family-run business by the Townsends. They provide the best value for the highest quality water treatment. Take advantage of this special and save $1,000 on the CareSoft Elite Plus 1 system. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to AlamoWaterSofteners.com. That's AlamoWaterSofteners.com.
You don't get to be the league's all-time leading rusher without feeling some pain.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith knows joint pain, and he also knows the old treatments aren't the only treatments. Today, there's a natural alternative to drugs and surgery. It's biologic therapies from QC Kinetics.
I'm talking regenerative solutions that encourage your body to heal and repair itself.
Do you have pain in your hips, knees, shoulder, lower back? Want to get your life back? The local medical professionals at QC Kinetics can help.
Call to learn more about this exciting natural way to deal with chronic joint pain.
Don't put it off. Call QC Kinetics. Restorative, regenerative solutions with no downtime and lasting results.
Don't let your joint pain keep you from doing the things you love. There's a new natural solution that patients are raving about.
QC Kinetics.
Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. QC Kinetics, 571-0318.
When it comes to replacing your home windows, nobody does it better in San Antonio than the Window Source. If you're still living with old, drafty, single-pane windows, those have got to go. Upgrade to new, Texas-made, Texas-proud, energy-efficient windows. The Window Source of San Antonio offers some of the best deals around, and all come with the assurance of a full lifetime warranty. Call 210-880-3021 to book your free estimate or visit them online to learn more. WindowSourceofSA.com. Let them old windows go.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Hey, it's Ariana Grande.
And Blake Shelton.
And I'm so excited to join The Voice this season.
I'll put it on social media so everyone knows. Now get ready to hear the likes pouring in. Darn, the internet must be broken again.
I'll just give it a try on mine, just in case. Huh. Guess they fixed the internet.
The new season of The Voice with Ariana Grande premieres tonight on NBC.
Okay, now you're just rubbing it in.
This is Jerry Jones, and you're listening to the home of the Dallas Cowboys.
San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on a Monday. Short show today. We're out at 6. Rangers and Yankees. Thank goodness it's the last week of baseball season, or at least early outs for us. I don't mind an early out in June or July, but not during football season. Jeff Traylor, flexible with his time, joining us now instead of after 6, because, otherwise we'd be talking between balls and strikes. Coach, congratulations. Undefeated, man. Hell of a time I had Saturday in the Dome watching you guys beat Middle Tennessee up and down that field.
Well, thank you. Our defense was very dominant. Offensively, we weren't quite as clean as we had been. Spittered and sputtered a little bit with some penalties and, had to turn the ball over, which we haven't done all year. That was disappointing. And special teams was similar. We were good. Like our offense was good, but there's just a few little things we've got to clean up. So we've got a lot to work on, but we're very grateful to be 3-0.
Absolutely. And, Coach, I'm trying to figure out a way to ask this to get an honest answer without making other people feel bad. But you guys had a chance to have back-to-back shutouts, and they got those 13 points late in the game with, I'm guessing those were your 3s and 4s in the game, and they gave up some points. So I'm not trying to make them feel bad, but for your starters and your defensive staff, how much does not getting that shutout burn?
Not at all, because we're just not wired that way. Yeah, we'd love for all you guys to have something to talk about 8 quarters in a row, but we got to win the war, not the battle, right? And those 3s and 4s deserve to play. They practice.
and they busted. And we're coaching their tails off right now because they busted those 2 calls. And that's just an MA. It's a mental era, and we've got to be better than that. And that's why we recruit them. We recruit them to come here and play and make plays. And those kids will be better for that. And when they're on the field in 2 years and they're not making those mistakes, it's going to have a lot to do with playing against Middle Tennessee. So, yeah, I understand it. I'm a human. I'm emotional. I get it. That'd be fun. But it's not worth losing a starter for some kind of stat we can all brag about.
Absolutely, because that was the next question. You guys roll a lot of guys in there. I'm surprised you have enough jerseys for everybody that can get into the game. How hard is it to keep track of who's in and how many snaps they're getting?
Well, we work hard at it. We really do. We pay very close attention to it. It's part of our recruiting strategy that we play a lot of kids. It's great for our locker room because our kids are all happy and they're all competing. It's also great to keep you healthy and last throughout the year. And I think fans enjoy it. I think fans just like seeing the organization of that many kids running on and off the field. And we didn't have any penalties at all because of that, which is a miracle. But much credit to Rod Wright, Jess Lepp, Tommy Perry, and Barry Lunny, my coordinators, who do a great job coaching those kids.
Absolutely. Jeff Traylor, head football coach at UTSA, joining us here on the Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star. And again, you've talked often about how deep your team is. Part of that is you have a lot of guys, super seniors, with that extra year of eligibility because of the COVID last year. And what's impressive is you've got them all, but you're still able to get so many guys into the game and keep everybody fresh. And it's noticeable when you're watching the game in person that I don't know that I've picked up on while watching you guys on TV over the first couple of weeks.
It reminds me of kind of like watching hockey. When I used to watch it on TV, I didn't realize they subbed that massive like that. Then I went and saw a game live, and I'm like, man, this is crazy how much those guys are interchanging. That's what it's like when you come and watch our team play, just massive substitutions. Now, this week, Memphis is so good at tempo, they won't let us sub. They don't sub their guys, so they play really fast. They're going to try to keep us hemmed up and pinned up on our sideline. So it'll be interesting to see if our guys can last with this tempo that Memphis is fixing to bring to the table.
It's interesting. You just got to work the hockey line, change the right way. And, sometimes you might get too many men on the ice. Sometimes you might have to pull your goalie. But, you're going to get it done, man. Have an icing penalty to slow some things down and get that stoppage as we visit and talk some hockey with Jeff Traylor. Didn't think you'd be doing that today, did you?
I'll never forget the first Stars game I went to. I came back asking my hockey brothers, I'm like, what was that? They're like, that's been going on forever. You just never noticed it. I'm like, shows what I know. I'm from Texas, a lot of football, but not much hockey in my life.
Hockey is, I think, the greatest sport to watch live in person that just doesn't quite translate to television. Coach, let's talk about where you guys are. Undefeated, going on the road to face a Memphis team, also undefeated. 2:30 in the afternoon, playing there in the Liberty Bowl, national TV, which I think is, another plus. I don't have to go find, whichever app it is, which I don't know if you've ever had to do that. It's fun, and I love that it's available to me, but it's hard. Once you find it, then you want to switch and check another game during a commercial. It's always tough. So I'm glad you're on ESPNU this week. Memphis is good. You talk about a measuring stick game. Can you compare where Memphis is to where Illinois was when you went up there and got the win?
I think it's different. I think it's a great question, but they're Big Ten. They're trying to maul you up and keep the game, in between the hashes. These guys are very, very fast. They've got team speed better than ours, believe it or not. And they like to play tempo. They like to let their athletes have the ball. They're similar to us to get the ball out in space. They've been winning a long time. They've 17 consecutive wins at home. I mean, think about that. That's 3 seasons without losing a home game. Their crowd is rowdy. It's a great stadium. They're one of those group of 5 teams we've studied. There's 5 of them we think we'd like to be like one day, where we can get, the boosters, the fundraising, the national attention, the winning, the fans, the games. They're one of those 5 G5 schools that I think have really, really elevated for the last 10 years, and they do a fantastic job.
They certainly do. Jeff Traylor joining us here on the Blitz. Our conversation with Coach Traylor brought to you by Pinkerton's Barbecue. And I saw he's going to set up his big old TV out there in the park downtown, Pinkerton's Barbecue, to have a watch party for you guys. And, you think about Memphis barbecue versus San Antonio barbecue. I think Pinkerton's is going to win there. But it's a big trip for you guys on a variety of levels. When I know there's things you like to talk about, things you don't, but CBS Sports, I believe, today, out of all the Division I schools, has you at 53. You guys continue to climb up. You jumped 8 spots in their weekly rankings after your win on Saturday over Middle Tennessee.
That's all great. And I'm excited for our kids in our city and you guys. That gives y'all something to talk about. But at the end of the day, we just can't go there. It's a total violation of every one of our culture pillars. We've got to be the very, very best we can be today. And I know y'all get tired of hearing me, but we just can't get in that lane. We've got a really good football team if we'll really prepare the right way. And this week it's pound the fist, which is just basically all 5 of our culture pillars, wad it up, trust all of them, and just keep getting better. And if we do that, all that other stuff's going to take care of itself. That's why I've got y'all for. Y'all are going to do a great job of talking all that up. We need to stay in our own lane and try to go play better football than we did last Saturday.
See, that's why I'm not going to ask you what do we got to do to get more people in there. I thought after last week we would have 20-25 in the Dome, and it was 16. We went out there tailgating. Rudy from the morning show, Rudy J. We were out there just having a great time. And the beauty of it, it was so hot at the tailgates, and we had plenty of cold beverages. Trust me, it was so nice walking into the AC. And I was surprised that there weren't more. And it was a good loud crowd for 16. I used to do the Commanders games in the Alliance. I've seen 30 in there. I know what that looks like and sounds like. I was surprised that there weren't more in there.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. It's the loudest 16,000 I've ever heard. Obviously, we'd like for more to come to the game, but we can't control that either. I know our student section was absolutely packed again. That's 2 weeks in a row. That was awesome. We passed out pizza to them last week. We're going to bring up some taquitos next week when we're not this week, but the next week when we're at home again. And we just got to keep playing good football. We do believe that the city of San Antonio will show up if we just keep winning enough ball games. And I'm just grateful for the 16,000. They sounded like 32,000. And if anybody has a friend, bring them to the ball game. And if it takes me bringing you taquitos, just let me know. We'll get it done.
Well, I think, Coach, you just opened up something there, because you did pizza for the students last week and you got taquitos coming. See, the head coach at Portland State said, if you come to the game, I'll buy your beer. And then he was asked how many. He said all of them. You come to the game, I'm picking up your beer tab. See, he's one-upped you. See, and I know you're a competitive guy. So now you got to one-up the guy at Portland State.
We're also in the Bible Belt. I got to be careful. I don't want to alienate all my Baptist friends. None of us ever partake. We're just sweet tea guys only. You know that.
And it was nothing but sweet tea in that parking lot in the Alamo Dome. In fact, I saw David Morgan empty a sweet tea container in about 2.5 seconds in his first ever tailgate. And that sweet tea was so refreshing on a hot day, Coach.
I know he was feeling good when I gave him the hug to start the fourth quarter. He had a great time, as did Jarvion. We were glad to see those guys.
Absolutely. And it's nice that those guys feel so welcome back into the program. And I think all of that helps. It was a lot of fun. And that was a great way you sidestep in the challenge from the Portland State coach, which brings me to another question. This has nothing to do with UTSA football, just coaching in general, as we visit with Jeff Traylor here on the Blitz. When we understand in the media and fans that there are times that coaches lie to us, and that just comes with the territory. Did you get a chance to see the end of the Cowboys game yesterday?
No, sir. I really only watch. I try to peek at the Saints when I have a moment because of my son and Marcus Davenport, but I just don't watch anybody else. So I'm sorry I did not.
All right, I'm gonna set up a scenario for you. There's 33 seconds to go. The Cowboys get a nice play from Tony Pollard. Clock is running. I think the Cowboys thought that the Chargers were going to take a timeout. The Cowboys let that clock go from 33 to 4 before burning a timeout. The sideline looked confused. You had some players leaving the field, others not, coming and going. So there were some communication issues on personnel. And then after the game, this is what Mike McCarthy said.
Like I was watching, went off the board, and then Clark Kellen had, I think he said a camera. He got blocked by a camera guy. So the communication was great from up top, and Obviously, you want to call that timeout between 3 and 4 seconds. So
Now, that is the greatest line of Coach Lai I've ever heard, isn't it?
I just don't know enough about the situation to comment on it, honestly. See, that's Coach Talk 101. I did not lie. It's just Coach Talk. Y'all call it lying. We call that Coach Talk.
He said the clock went out, and Kellen Moore's view of his clock that he looks at was blocked by a cameraman, which is incredible because generally I think if you're on one sideline, aren't you looking at the clock that's on the other side of the field? And there's nobody else that probably told him the clock was still running. And he went on to say that they were good in field goal range at that point, which was a 56-yard field goal. Now, granted, Greg Zuerlein bailed him out with the game winner, but you can't tell me with 33 seconds and a timeout left that you were comfortable at 56 with your kicker who missed an easy field goal and an extra point the week before.
I'll tell you a true story. I was supposed to run out of the Alamo Dome the 4-minute mark Saturday, right? That was the last words I was given. I was looking at the clock. It was at 4:25, and there was so much smoke that came out of that thing for us to run through. I was begging somebody to tell me if it was 4 minutes. So I'm not going to bail him out, but I'm going to tell you that's what happened to me. That's my story, and I'm just sticking to it.
It's a great story, but you do have somebody on your staff who's paying attention to the clock and yelling in your ear and other people's ears if a timeout probably should be taken if they've missed it in that situation, right?
I would hope we'd be prepared for that situation. I just don't, karma's tough in this game. I don't want to make a comment and then something happened to me Saturday, so I'm going to stay away from it. I appreciate you setting me up, trying to make me bite on that, but I'm not biting on that bait. But thank you, though.
I'm just trying to learn from a coach. That's all. I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
As soon as I do, headlines will be UTSA head football coach questions the Dallas Cowboys head coach, and I'm not doing
it. You and 20 million other people are questioning the Cowboys head coach. This comes with it, but I appreciate it, Coach. I appreciate it. I always appreciate you going down interesting paths because I like to learn from you, but I understand where you're coming from there. I won't press you on it. Good luck this week against Memphis. It's going to be fun next Monday when we talk to you and you guys are 4-0.
I appreciate it. I hope so. It'd be a huge win for us. They've won 17 in a row at home, 2 undefeated teams on national TV. Our guys will be juiced up. What I love about my guys, when you tell them they can't do something, somehow they find a way. We know we're underdogs and nobody thinks we're going to do it, but I like my guys, and I'll bet you the triangle travels Saturday.
It certainly will. Coach Traylor, Jeff Traylor, always appreciate the time. We'll talk to you next week.
God bless. Birds up. Thank y'all so much.
Birds up. Appreciate it. Jeff Traylor here on the Blitz, brought to you by Pinkerton's Barbecue. And again, Pinkerton's is going to be having a big watch party Saturday. That big old giant TV they set up in the park out there at their location. Pinkerton's does have free parking downtown. You just got to go to the lot, get it validated. It's easy to do. So go down there, get some great Q, and enjoy the UTSA game. I thought he would go with me on that one a little bit more than he did. I really did. I try not to ever put a guy in an awkward position, but clearly he doesn't want the headline of questioning the head coach. I just want to know where the coach's lies come from. Like, when did Mike McCarthy think, yeah, Kellen, the cameraman, it blocked your view? I mean, that must have been a giant camera. Crazy. Interesting stuff. We're out early today. Rangers, Yankees coming up at 6 o'clock. We'll wrap up the Blitz here in just a couple of minutes. If you want to be a part of the show, you want to chime in, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Speaking of football, you got to enjoy some great sausage. If you're tailgating, if you're home gating, you want the best sausage on that grill, it is Kielbasa Smoked Meats. And I'm a big fan of Kielbasa. They're a great local San Antonio company that is available nationwide. They're a nationwide favorite, but they take care of their hometown of San Antonio. In fact, this year alone, Kielbasa has donated more than 2 tons of sausage to the San Antonio Food Bank. They're donating premium sausage with a special label designed to provide encouragement to people who are experiencing hard times. They call this their Links of Love program, and through this, Kielbasa has helped feed people through local food banks and disaster relief efforts. So when you buy Kielbasa brand sausage, when you get some great Kielbasa smoked meats, whether it's the sausage, the Kielbasa bacon, the chorizo, or those breakfast links, you're also helping others when when they need it, and it's important to do. They call that their Links of Love program. You can learn more about it on their website, kiabasa.com. Get into the grocery store. Get yourself some Kiabasa today.
Who's ready to play some ball?
Friday nights under the lights. Don't miss the high school football game of the week. Powered by Hill Electric. This Friday on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Howdy, San Antonio. Chip Ingram from the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, inviting you to come out and enjoy patio season. We have newly remodeled patios, garage doors, and everything else you need to enjoy this great South Texas weather. As always, ice cold beer and specialty drinks. Happy hours daily from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And our kitchen is open from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. See you soon at the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant at 281 and Redland Road.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
Rudy J here, and I want to tell you about Enrique Custom Vision. Dr. Enrique has performed over 58,000 laser vision corrections, and he's the only Z-LASIK trainer in the area. He treats nearsightedness, farsightedness, and even astigmatism. And all procedures are blade-free and pain-free, and they just take seconds per eye. Get the vision you deserve without glasses and contacts. Call 354-2020 today to get the Enrique difference. Don't compromise your only set of eyes. Call 354-2020 today.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
My husband's ED was affecting our marriage. When he first started experiencing ED, it was difficult for both of us. We didn't know who to talk to about it or where to get help. HIMSS was our answer. HIMSS connected my husband with a licensed provider online. He was able to get medication to treat his ED at a fraction of the price people pay for the name brand. It was delivered to our door, and guess what? Our sex life is back. It works.
Right now, get your first online provider's visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/radio. Yep, free. No copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Just the care you need.
Thanks to HIMSS, we got our sex life and our marriage back.
To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/radio. That's forhims.com/radio for your free online visit. forhims.com/radio.
Here's pitch. W Power. W Fun. W Rangers Pleasure. The exclusive action happens here on the official home plate of the Texas Rangers. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Don't mind the brake lights. We'll get you there. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. A victory Polo Monday for the Dallas Cowboys. An impressive win over the Los Angeles Chargers yesterday. It really was. They only allowed 17 points. They only scored 20. That was the first Cowboy win since 2018, since December 23rd of 2018. The first Cowboys win since then that they didn't go over 30 points. I mean, you think about for the Cowboys and the way they're designed and as bad as their defense is, you expect them to score 30, if not 40, to have a chance to win. They scored 20 points and got a win. Think about that. 20 points, got a win because the defense held them to 17. That's just incredible. I mean, when you think about that, what the Cowboys did yesterday on both sides, You're going to see some interesting sound cuts from Coach Fossil tonight, trying to explain why they went after the pump block. We don't have enough time to get into it. But basically, he did it for you. He said that's what Cowboy fans want. They want aggressive play. I hope you're happy. Well, if he had got there, Coach, maybe. I mean, that kind of comes with the territory. That's part of it. But at the same time, I mean, I appreciated what he was doing. Fred Caceres on our Facebook Live. Great show. Enjoyed your interview with Moose and Coach Traylor. #birds up. If you guys ever miss any of the interviews we do, they're always available to you at sasportstar.com. You go there, check the audio vault. Moose will be up there. Jeff Traylor will be up there momentarily when Pledge gets it there. Peter Burns. They're also on our Twitters. So if and you should be following us on our Twitter, subscribe to YouTube, do all that kind of stuff because we get graded on that. But it's all there. Moose was great. I got to say, I can't believe we're out at 6 today and tomorrow and the next day. And, because the Rangers are on the East Coast, but baseball season is almost over. The Rangers season's been over for a long time, but they still got to play all the commercials that they sold. So we're out of here. We're back tomorrow at 4. We got a full show tomorrow as well. Rangers, Yankees next here on San Antonio Sports Star.
The main event. Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star.
We have the Little League World Series on right here. I'm not a huge